Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about the last video I had posted where I was talking about my diagnosis shift. That 100% happened, but I want to further elaborate on the story to give everyone the full picture, okay? Because I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors when it comes to the manifestation industry on social media, and I just kind of want to be as truthful and honest as I can be and show how I am absolutely flawed, but how I show I'm also successful. And the little victories are things we need to focus on to understand our manifestation power, because when you can finally bear witness, when you can finally be the I am that Jesus Christ had said, I am that I am. When you look at the breakdown of that word, what does that mean? Or those two words in unison. I am, if I say I am, that means present tense, right? That means you have to be in present tense. When you are manifesting, you have to be awake, you have to be aware. And what is I? You know, when you say us, that's plural. When you say I, that's singular. And if you say present tense I, what does that mean? Present tense single I, okay? That's what I am can be translated to. So it makes a little bit more sense when you look at it in the, what's it called? The language aspect of it. So when I was told I didn't tear actually the cartilage in my knee and I would be fine, I was actually very concerned that I was being mistreated. You know, if anyone understands the medical industry in America, we spend a significant amount of money for us to be chronically obese, to have heart disease, and honestly, malpractice is one of the leading causes of death. So it's like, I'm not like on any side or whatever, I'm just saying it like it is. So with that in mind, I was very concerned. I was like, is this person really not caring about my health, or did I actually just change my reality? And because I quibbled, like Neville Goddard says, I actually had to go back to getting surgery. I was able to manifest a perfect diagnosis, but just like doubting Thomas, the apostle in the Bible who doubts if Jesus Christ can resurrect, what's it called? I became that embodiment of doubting Thomas, that archetype. That's why he exists in there. All of the apostles, they translate to the 12 zodiac signs in the sky. That's why there's 12 apostles. And there's 12 cranial nerves in your brain that allow you the capacity to use your 5 senses, and they're all attached to the zodiac. So it's like, when you understand that, you need to understand you have these archetypes in you, and that failure is okay, or failing is okay, or doubting is okay, because it's part of the story. But the other side of that is to observe that, to become the observer, and to become the I am, and say, hey, I can transcend these 5 senses just like Jesus Christ had done, and I can let go of being the Judas, the one that's consumed by the 5 senses, that's duped by their 3D reality. So anyway, I didn't believe my doctor, and because I was dwelling in my pain and the suffering in my mind, being scared and afraid, I unfortunately did opt for surgery. I got a surgeon's opinion, but before I went to get the surgeon's opinion, because I found comfort in getting a surgeon's opinion, because I wasn't convinced emotionally in my head, because I didn't fully understand the breath of wisdom coming from Neville Goddard, Florence Scovel, A Course in Miracles, whoever you want to listen to, it's all saying the same thing, just in different ways. It gave me comfort and provided me with the conviction, hey, I'm gonna be okay. But before I went into the doctor's office, I had said, you know, I'm still gonna get the best diagnosis, whatever that is. But because I was coming from a place of lack, but still believing I could get a best diagnosis, that means I'm gonna need something invasive happen to me. But it's gonna be the best possible invasive procedure I could get, right? So it turns out that I tore my meniscus perfectly off of the root, which means it can be saved. If anyone has cartilage injuries before understands, apparently by doctors and, you know, modern science, so I don't know how much I believe it, they say you can't grow back your cartilage. Once it's used, it's used. But I don't believe that the body is so incapable to not be able to regenerate all aspects of itself. Why would it be limited only to certain places? And I understand, you know, your cartilage doesn't get a lot of blood flow, but what if I was to assume it did? What if I'm different? What if I am? What if I create my own rules, you know? And I don't know how accurate that is or how delusional it is, but I'm gonna try. If anyone understands Marissa Peer, she's a world-renowned hypnotist and healed herself after cracking her leg breaking her leg in over 10 different places. Her doctor had said, you know, you're not gonna be able to walk properly, and you're not gonna be able to wear heels. And what did this chick do? She healed properly and she can wear heels. She's a badass. All right. And, you know, you don't have to listen to me for inspiration. Listen to these masters. You know, I just want to be I think the word's conduit, or I just want to be a vessel to provide this incredible wisdom to people, to give them the opportunity to, hey, you know what? No, don't let somebody tell you what you can't do. What do you want to do, right? So even though I did get surgery, I got the best possible outcome for a surgery. And you want to know what? My recovery has been phenomenal, because when I was in the process of healing, it took 3 months without being able to walk. I could use crutches, but anyone who's used crutches for 3 months knows it's kind of a pain. So what did I do? What I did is I started reading these books. I started going into this information again, and I started using it towards my healing process. And I was able to walk like 2 weeks earlier. I fell during my process, and trust me, my leg went all the way back, and I was like, oh shit, I made it worse. But I caught myself, and it's so important to catch yourself when you're manifesting. When you catch yourself being doubting Thomas, say no. Every time you catch yourself saying, no, I'm actually doing well. This is a test, and I'm gonna prove that I'm paying attention, and I'm gonna embody the I am. And the more you do that, the more you catch yourself, even with the little things, it becomes your new subconscious programming. And when something negative or not what you want actually happens, you catch yourself more quickly, more easily, more naturally, and it becomes an organic way for you to function and to say, you know what, actually, I can prevent this from happening. I can change it to work in my favor somehow, some way. You know, Jesus Christ, the Master, he rose and fell from consciousness 3 times. The Master, the chosen one. And you want to know why his name is, I think he's called the Lion from the tribe of Judah. Do you want to know why that is? Because Leo, the entity that rules Leo, is the sun. And guess what Jesus is? The only son of God, right? Or whatever you want to call it. So the zodiac absolutely plays a role in the Bible stories, because the people who wrote the Bible were the Greeks, or someone along that entity or essence that understood mythology. And any of the Greek gods, you have all these different kinds of gods. They're symbolic of all the different entities within you, you know? And when we can understand the symbolism of the Bible, when we can really just let go of the concept of heaven and hell, and say like, no, here's the time to play, you know, here's the time to understand, even with the little manifestations, even if it's a free cup of coffee, you know, don't belittle that. Because you know what, if you belittle the little things, you're not going to be grateful for the big things, if they even come, because you're not grateful for something small. Why would the universe offer you something big? You know, and I'm not trying to be mean, I'm trying to be very real. This process is about humbling yourself, and when you fail, to say it's okay. You know, pain is a great catalyst for growth. And there's a really cool saying that says, great sailors aren't made on calm seas. And you want to know what the sea is symbolic of in the Bible? Your subconscious, the innermost depths of yourself that you don't want to acknowledge, because they can be very dark and they can make your ship or your boat turn over. And the ark in Noah's Ark is symbolic of your vessel, of your body. And you need to go within. And the people that were within the ark were pure. The reason why the flood happened was because it's symbolic of a baptism of a world that was full of of ego minds. So, because the people from the Tower of Babel, I'm pretty sure, I think this happened before or maybe after, I might be mixed up in my thoughts, but the people before the flood were so indoctrinated with their minds that God said, you know, we got to start with a clean slate. And that's what it was about. It wasn't about an actual flood, you know, and maybe it literally happened. I don't know. I'm no one to tell you I know the truth. Again, I just want to share information in my story so everyone understands that failure is part of the process. If the chosen one can fail, so can you. Just bear witness and get back up and resurrect, because that's when you're Jesus Christ. You don't resurrect when you stay Judas, all right? So I just wanted to share that part of my story so I could get a clear conscience out and finish up everything. And yeah, I hope you guys found some peace of mind in that, and I'll talk to you soon.